on. Hang on. I've already modified the expression on the face by prying open the mouth by gradually wedging 3 craft sticks, popsicle sticks, into his mouth after heating the underside with a 1850 watt hair dryer, heating right here. The sweet spot was focusing the heat right here. So after about 30 seconds of exposure to this high heat at 1850 watts, I gradually wedged 1 popsicle stick in, and then a second and a third, and then to help keep it open towards the end, a toothpick in there, wedging two popsicle sticks, and then eventually 3. So the technique is to heat it up. I know I'm blocking the camera. To heat it up, you apply the heat right here, sweet spot right here, for approximately 30 seconds, and then right away, without losing any time, start wedging in the popsicle sticks or any other wedge that you would have that you would like. So I've already done that here. I did that off camera, and I've also painted the smile in a little bit. I painted the smile in and a little bit into the throat, and I still have to clean up. So you can clean up the acrylic paint with rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip after it's dry or while it's wet. And when you start to heat up the sticker, his tongue and his mouth is a sticker. And after you start heating it up, the sticker pops off. So save the sticker, and then after you get it finished, you can clean everything with rubbing alcohol real well to remove the mold release on the plastic that's in there from the manufacturing process, and then put the sticker back in. But I painted the smile, and I painted the roof of his mouth, the back of his throat. I got some stuff on the roof of his mouth that I'll get off later with a paintbrush and rubbing alcohol or a Q-tip. But the beauty of the acrylic paint is that you can get it off wet or dry with rubbing alcohol, and so you have a margin for error if you don't do it correctly or whatever. So again, the sweet spot is right here. You want to heat this spot up right here with a hair dryer, 30 seconds, 1850 watt hair dryer, not a heat gun, and put it down right away, and you hold the wedge in until the mouth is cold, until the jaw or the underside of the jaw is cold. You don't really want to open it any more than that, but originally you could barely get in 1 popsicle stick, and so just take your time. Okay, so I dremeled some slits in here. I used just an abrasive wheel, and so that's how a Slinky Dog is fastened. So I distorted the plastic here a little bit, but I'll clean this up and polish it out a little bit. And again, we have to take his feet off, his legs, I should say, his back legs off. Okay, so that's how he comes apart. So the idea is to take the mechanism. Here's the mechanism. It's a handcar chassis or a speeder chassis. It doesn't have the wheel. It doesn't have the wheel in here that drives the pump handle. And but it's the chassis comes fully assembled with should come with the springs and this, and all you have to do is solder your wires. I think I maybe added this. No, this was it came assembled except no motor. And then I had this from another project. That's why you see this done this way. But anyway, this is what I'm going to do the Slinky Dog this way. I'm going to fix the mechanism so it snaps on under these little pieces here. I want the bottom of his body to sort of hug the track, and then we have to work with his paws to get his paws oriented in the dash, Slinky Dog Dash look. Got to get the orientation up like that. So I'll work on that, and I'm going to paint the undersides of his ears brown. And the last thing I'm going to do is, I don't know why they have this between his eyes. I'm going to take this out from between his eyes. And then I'll fill this hole. I'm going to stick that wire, that thing. I'll fill that hole with some latex caulk and then touch up the paint. So it'll look okay. I got to get myself here. Where's the camera? Here I am, getting closer to the camera. Here we are, Slinky Dog. Got a nice happy face, happy dog face. And see how the paint accentuates the smile. So it's all about those little things. So it'll be a cute little thing when it's finished. Okie doke. Okay, so what I've done so far is I've carved out, whittled out with the hobby knife, the leg opening all the way down to this point here on both sides, of course. So it's like that, reduced to that. I wired the legs together, the front legs together just temporarily, so I get a placement in him. So the angle is going to be up like that, like the Slinky Dog roller coaster has his paws up, his front paws up. And then I'm just going to hot glue that, tacking it lightly with hot glue first to get the position correct. So that was the front. So whittled that out. The tail, I put a piece of white coat hanger wire in the tail to get a curve on an upward curve, because I want to have maybe perhaps pulling another car behind it here. And I used Gorilla Glue, the white water activated Gorilla Glue, because I had it and it was going bad in the container. So I glued that coat hanger in there because it's under a lot of pressure with this spring. And the same thing I did with the rear legs here. I took the rear legs, I wired them together just to help me get the placement. And of course they'll go like this, like the roller coaster ride, one leg may be higher than the other. And I had to whittle out, again, very deeply here to get the legs far enough back. So the object was to get them far enough back in both, in terms of or far enough forward for the front legs. So I'm just going to hot glue those just to tack them temporarily, get the position, and then I'll cement them in with a better cement. And for the body, I made out of styrene, I made this little shell. First I mocked it up out of cardboard to get the idea. So it's a little shell that will snap over the basic chassis, the basic Lionel handcar speeder chassis. So that just fits in there, will snap in, and then I'm going to build on that. I intend to wrap this with wire to get a sort of a slinky effect, perhaps paint it first. And so this shell is just of styrene, laminated some thinner layers over it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I pieced it here. It's going to be covered with the wire, wrapped with the wire, and it fits the pieces rather nicely here. So this is about the slimmest I could get it. I should say the shortest I could get it. I didn't want him to be quite that long, but that's okay. I just had to clear this mechanism, so he's going to be approximately that long, and not approximately, he will be exactly that long. And this will be wrapped with wire to give us sort of a slinky effect. I may paint it the same color. After I get the legs in, I'm going to have to fill in this part right here a little bit. After the legs are glued in, I'm going to have to cut a little piece of styrene and bridge the gap right here, and then I'm going to use my favorite thing to use is caulking, latex caulk. I'll put that in there, and after it cures, I'll tool it a little bit and paint it the appropriate color. It won't be. It'll be I'll get a good match in terms of color, but it's not going to be continuous plastic exactly. The hardest thing is to get the correct sheen, because the acrylic paints finish matte or almost matte, and so it'll be okay. It's not it doesn't have to be a perfect match. So there's Slinky Dog with his nice happy smile. He's got a happy smile, happy dog. And okay, I finished temporarily tacking the legs in place with hot glue, and I wanted to raise the 1 foot a little more, and I'll do that later. I have some concern about clearance. And for the tail section, the same thing, temporarily glued them. Again, that's a jumble of Gorilla Glue in there, but it'll be. So there's his rear. That's how it looks from the rear. So that's a good. I think that looks good. And him, Slinky Dog, from the front. I wanted to get more of a dashing look from him, but I have to clear. I can't have his feet hitting the track, so I can still move these just a little bit. That's why my idea of the wire is in there, so that I can still. I want one a little higher than the other. So I did a preliminary fit on here to see how it would work with the track, and it looks pretty good. As I said, this is a little longer than I wanted, and of course the rear end here, that looks kind of nice there. Works out well. Slinky Dog from the rear. And then this area right here, this area in here, I'm going to have to fill in. After I get it all together, I'll put some scrap pieces of styrene behind it, and then I'll glue, I'll caulk and fill out and tool the caulking and get it to look a certain way. So again, when the technique there, I still can move them a little bit, and if I made a mistake, I can break the bonds of that hot glue. Once everything is where I want it to be, I'm going to come in and cement it in with a better glue, maybe a little Gorilla Glue, more Gorilla Glue, or just super glue. But I want to be able to undo this wire for the tail. I didn't have to worry about undoing. I wanted it to be extremely strong to hold that tail up. So all in all, a happy dog. A little farther apart than I want him to be, but it'll be okay. And so that's it. Messy workbench here, but I was able to get it all roughed in, so I can relax now. And again, that's a nice. There's the motor. I should say power truck assembly in there, or hand car chassis in there, and it should be pretty good. Okie doke. Hang on. on. Hang on.